Welcome to the DMV's Vibe Podcast. I am Miss Pink.
And I'm Fearless Swagger.
And today is our season finale, y'all. We done made it to the season finale. It's our last show of the year. And we have an amazing panel of men with us. We've been so hyped to have this show. I know y'all watched the lady show. They did amazing on their segment, but it's the fellas' turn today. And so without further ado, y'all know us. As we did our intros, but we are going to go from left to right, introducing our panel.
My name is Stanley Nichols.
Allende Wilson.
Jay Watson.
And J.S. Russell.
We thank y'all for joining us today to be
y'all.
A part of this panel. It was important for us to have this conversation as we'll be going over talking about multiple from across different decades and how your transformation has been from growing into your manhood as far as your careers, dating, marriage. We'll get to touch on all of these topics today. I would like to say, just to open it up and start with what does manhood, what does it mean to you now? And what did it mean to you, let's say, when you first turned 18? Whoever wants to go first.
So everybody gonna be silent. What's the age ranges that we have?
Well, I'm 38.
38.
63.
Yeah, I'm 54. 40.
So I feel like I was one of the original YNs. So like during that time, manhood to me was something way different. I felt like I had to be a follower at first. I grew up, a father, but a non-present father in the household. So the only example of manhood was just responsibility. So responsibility meaning, okay, go to work every day. Okay, I pay the bills. I buy the groceries. And that's where the buck stopped. So, of course, that's not, now that I'm older, manhood means a lot more than just paying bills and, taking care of your family. Responsibility, it's a different type of responsibility. It's about how you carry yourself. Of course, the decisions that you make for yourself, how you present yourself. So that's a little different from how I was raised as far as seeing manhood within my household.
Yeah, that's understandable. Growing up in the South, my mother was there.
Where in the South?
Excuse me?
Where in the South?
Smithfield, North Carolina.
Okay.
Smithfield, North Carolina. Born and raised. My mama was there. My father was absent. But I had a host of brothers that taught me how to be a young man, how to take on the responsibilities of taking care of the community. My main job growing up was I took care of the old people in my community. I cut their grass, was shopping for them, and they didn't have to want for anything, and learning that at a young age. And plus, I had a lot of other men in the community that was active in the community. So I began to see, growing up, I saw a lot of positive images of what men are supposed to do, being the provider, being a positive image for the young men that was growing up in the community, showing them the correct way to do things, the mannerisms on how to treat women and how to carry themselves on a day-to-day basis, even in school and in the community. How you supposed to just honor and protect the women and protect your community. so to speak.
I resonate with what both of you all said. For me, I heard a statement a few years back. It was do what you know until you know better, and that's good for surface thinking. For someone that doesn't really want to grow, and being intentional is better than just doing what you know until you know better. Especially nowadays, we have too many resources out here. Perfect example. Social media. So social media, a lot of people use it for laughing, for just pure entertainment. You can actually learn life on social media now. So there's less excuses for those of us that aren't growing. So when I say I resonate with what you all said, is you recognize life is a lot more than what you were shown in the beginning.
Mhm.
And you realize you learned that responsibility started much younger. So what you learned, you have to teach, and what you now know, you have to teach. It's our responsibility for everyone that's coming after us, and for those of us that we meet that have no clue on what real life is really about. Real life is about not about yourself. Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. You have to take time to not just grow, but be connected to people that want to grow. So it's your surroundings, it's your personal choices, and to be honest, self-examine yourself. Where am I flawed? Where am I lacking? So it took a long time after that first phrase of doing what you know to you know better, to realize a better statement is about being intentional of where you want to go. Because doing what you know means I know to sweep the floor, but being intentional means I need this floor spotless. It's a bigger picture. It's not about right now and complaining about what I went through. It's about, I don't know, we call it manning up, but your definition for manning up could be different from his and mine.
Mhm.
So when you talk about manning up, I want to know everything you have to say about it. When you talk about manning up, I want to know everything you have to say about it. And because you're men, and this is not to despite women, but if I hear a woman say man up, I'm like, teach me and then tell me your source. If you can't tell me your source, I might not dismiss it, but I can't place the proper value on what you have to say. But as a man, and you tell me what you did to get to where you are, to become in a fraternity, proud enough to wear it, I want to know what you got to say. Even if I don't have nothing to do with a fraternity, I want to know what you got to say. I'm watching how this brother's dressed. I'm like, okay. I'm watching how this brother's well groomed. I'm like, okay, I can learn something from you all. Not to say I don't have it, but how did you get to the point to know you had to be well groomed? How did you get to the point you need to be well dressed? How did you get to the point to where people want to call you to be on a panel? How did you get to that point? And so, from a kid to a man, life is way different. Growing up in the 70s and 80s is completely different. Nothing is the same. It's a challenge. A welcome challenge now, though.
Mhm. So I love what you said about making sure that the elderly was straight. I never had anybody present it to me that way. So for me, coming up in the 90s, and I remember having this conversation with good man Anthony Fogel, um, and incarcerated together. And we was talking about manhood. There's always the topic of manhood. They say at 25 the brain matures, but I don't feel like I was a man or fully matured until about 28, right? Still in the county jail before I transitioned into the state. And it was just coming to that threshold where I felt like I'm responsible. I don't care about what nobody think. I need to do what I need to do. And when we were talking, he was talking about how the youngins are now, and I had to explain to him because we were a different age. Um, I said, look, the '90s came through. Crack either made addicts or took people off the streets. I said, so what was we supposed to have an example for manhood? I said, so we had to figure it out. And like my older cousins was, or whoever else was giving us the wrong information, because '90s came in with the gangster rap, gangster movies, all of that stuff. So we
Perception.
bought the BS,
Mhm.
right? But it took having to sit down and reflect. And I say it's different because the family structure was so different. So many men was gone. So if you don't have an example of a man, then you don't know. But being in that environment where now you dealing with men, you're gonna learn how to be a man,
Mhm.
or you're gonna be something else.
Mhm.
So it was one of those things where I seen that. But what you were saying as far as taking care of the elderly, like that's something that I have to incorporate, and I definitely appreciate and applaud you for that because when you say where you from, it's a different community, and I have moved around a lot, and I need to make sure that even with where I'm at with the church, the sick and shut in or whatever else, that these people taken care of because they done already did their work, and I like that. So the rest of it is still a learning process as far as manhood showing up. Because if I ain't had the example, how I'm supposed to know,
Mhm.
right?
That's
And the
good.
rest of it is just learning and showing up to the best of my ability. And you know, I ain't really tripping off of how a judgment come because when 12 judge you and
Mhm.
take away your life, I don't care what nobody say, but I know what I'm striving towards.
Right, 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 right.
Uh,
That's understandable. Also, sometimes sit down and talk to the older people. A lot of the elderly people just sit on a lot of knowledge. They're not going to really talk to you unless you first open up that can, and they'll begin to share. They'll begin to pour into you the knowledge that is lacking today. You know, I talk to a lot of the young guys. I'm like, it's a choice that you have to make. But whatever choice that you make, whatever road you decide to go down, you're gonna have to take every bump, every curve that's in that road. Now, whether it's the right road or the wrong road. But my mother always told me one thing. She said, whatever decision that you make, you're gonna have to live with the consequences of that decision. Now, if that decision goes against the grain, you're gonna have to deal with that. But
Mhm.
if your decision is a sound decision and just, you're gonna reap the rewards of that decision. But make sure whatever decision that you make, you think it through because that is going to determine the outcome of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish in life. And I took that with me even from Smithfield to the military, um, to the police force, and I carried on now. Um, I I t- I don't really talk a lot, but sometimes I can. Sometimes I can, but I like to sit down and I like to talk to people to see exactly where they at. See what you're thinking about, what's on your mind. And if you like you say you're in the church, it's a lot of knowledge to sit down and talk to some of the old saints. Some of the old saints, some of the ones that have toiled, have sit on the morning benches and prayed and talked to God and it helps in your growth. Even I grow daily. I grow daily. I work in the school system, and the kids are on a whole nother level. They're on a whole nother level, and
No question.
I try to talk to them, and I try to give them to understand. Look, you don't have to do what you're doing. That's a choice that you're making. Your choice is going to determine your outcome. That's what's going to happen to you in life.
Mhm.
So if you want to walk the halls and not go to class, that's your choice. But the consequences of that is you're gonna be a repeater, and your friends are gonna go on, graduate, and you still gonna be like someone we got now that's 9th grade repeaters, 3rd year.
What school you at?
PG County, Sula High School.
All right, one of my coworkers go up to that joint, but I'm gonna make sure I come through and slide and holler at you because I deal with the youth dealing with that.
Okay.
So I'll come and holler at you.
Me and him talk like at least 2 to 3 times a week after work, because I work with kids too, and like we talk about these kids and like hearing the stuff that y'all talking about as far as what manhood means. Like, this is what the kids are missing.
Mhm.
These kids don't have that. They don't have it. And honestly, it's not a lot of Black men in education, because let's be honest, it's not.
No money.
It's no money. Well, my district pays well.
It's
But
the patience.
it's also patience too. And so, because every day, like, it's a struggle with these kids, and even with the young Black males, like, as a woman trying to pour into them as much as I can, but it's only so much I can because I'm a female. So I can't tell them about manhood because I don't know about manhood. And then also the struggle that I see amongst some of the men that I work with, y'all could take it as a shot. I don't care. To me, they're not strong Black men, and they don't care enough to really pour into these young Black boys because you got them. They just see it as a
It's the check.
It's a paycheck.
It's the
One
check.
of the things that's an unfortunate thing is that you say you went through the military, so you had to be around strong people. So you had to develop that. I didn't go through the military, but I served some time. I had to, you know what I'm saying? It's certain things that you just can't be. I mean, you could be weak, it ain't gonna go well for you. But you know what I'm saying? So it's that type of thing, and and also depends on your surroundings, what people you dealing with, stuff like that.
The family structure is different though. Like,
everybody's
the family structure is different. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though we can be outside, but your parents still, my parent had a couple of jobs, you know what I'm saying? So of course I'm gonna get in trouble, all the trouble that I can before my parent get home.
Male or female?
Oh, female.
Your mother.
You know what I'm saying? So not even my mother, my aunt. I'm gonna get in all the trouble that I can before she get home. All right, because I know when she get home, I need to be tightened up. I need to be good. I need to be on my best behavior. These kids nowadays, they don't have the family structure where, like, we went to family reunions. We went around our cousins. We grew up with our cousins. We did a lot of things with our family. Nowadays, it's just the friends. Like, okay, I don't really want to go on that trip with you to grandma's house or whatever. I'm gonna stay around the neighborhood and stuff like that. Like, that was forced upon us. Church was forced upon us. Like, you had to go to church on Sunday. I can act bad the whole week, Monday through Saturday. I just had to be good at church. My aunt was forcing me to go to church. So, like, I think, like, the family structure of how the kids are being raised these days, we got to start there. We got to start looking in the household first, because some of these kids are doing things, and then when it's reported back to the parent's not doing nothing. The community's not doing nothing. The community's turning a blind eye because we have so much investment in not, discipline and giving up these kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? As far as, okay, if you're going to go steal a car, you need to learn a lesson, right? How many times can you steal a car? All right. As a kid, as a juvenile, I was a car stealer. I the free cars, I love that. I was,
Grand Theft Auto.
you know what I'm saying? I love that. That was my adrenaline rush, right? So I kept on going back to the car. I went to boot camp the first time. I went to Scared Straight. And then I was smart enough to know, like, these men are Scared Straight, they can't touch me.
Yeah.
All right. So the next time I got outside, my next free chance, I was going to steal a car. Right. Stole a car my last time. And the judge said, you know what? Allende, you never going to learn a lesson. Today, we're going to teach you a lesson. You're going to juvenile for 6 months. Okay. So I went to juvenile for 6 months. But then again, like my father wasn't telling me, hey, you keep messing up, you're going to be just like me. Or you keep messing up, this is where you're going to be at. That was none of that. It was more so turning a blind eye. Like I said, the responsibility for him was, hey, I need to just take care of the household, not, mentoring and nurturing my sons. You know what I'm saying? So you may have a father in the house, but the father may not be present. Okay, so we're talking about family structure. We're talking about these kids not having the proper structure. Even if they have a woman in the house, where's the uncles? You know what I'm saying? Why are these males not being mentored by the uncles, the older cousins? It is because we're not going to the family reunions no more. We're not going to spend Thanksgiving with all of our family reunions no more. We're not being around those men that are men, real men. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it needs to start at first, is at home. And these kids are bad because the situation at home. You know what I'm saying?
There's no consequences for the kids.
So I work for PG County Health Department as a community developer where I actually mentor these youth, right? So I get to see it, whoever DJS refers to me, and it's various households, various situations, right? So I'm hearing everything that you're saying, and I don't disagree. It's one of those things in which even when I deal with, because I know from my own experience, it's exposure. Like you said, the family, if we had the family reunions or whatever, but people got to be exposed to men to understand.
Oh yeah,
the
no
man
question,
is.
no question.
So I do my best to present that, and it's like I still can only
do
share but so much time with a
sure.
person.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Before you go back to whatever it is which you is. So then it's like, how do I combat all of that? Which been and this ain't working for you.
right.
And then I share my experience as to what ain't work for me. Cause like this was the thing. My father, he was somebody once upon a time, but what I knew was an addict.
Yeah,
And that's what I didn't want, you know? So it's like, all right, I see the wrong examples, but then it's like I gotta see the right examples too. And through incarcerate, I did a lot of reading. So I had to pull from other stuff. To be able to give this to the youngins now it's a whole lot in a little bit of time.
yeah.
And it requires work. It requires a whole lot in which they don't even have the mind, you know what I'm saying, capacity to understand what I'm saying. So I got it little bit by little bit. And so when we talking about that and the family structure, I was raised up, it takes a village, and it still does. It
yes,
does,
yes,
right?
yes.
And so I knew whether it was a teacher, and I had a conversation with somebody else about remembering the black male teachers, and they was far in between.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They made a difference. The coaches when I played football, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if you don't see it at home, you gotta
go outside
the
and
only
see
thing
it.
is sometimes you get more to BS than
for
the
sure.
good stuff.
Especially where you raise that.
Yeah, so I think with a lot of stuff, man, is just hoping that these youngins survive long enough to be able to pull from the people that give to them, because they look at me, I'm show up because as a county employee, I'm not going to be dressed like this. I got to dress a certain way. Unless I tell them what I'm going through, they not going to look at me like that. They don't know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the whole time, like sometimes with some of them, it be so frustrating and just be like, "Shawty, you wouldn't even make it." But I'm not going to tell them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Sometimes you gotta.
Sometimes to tell them that, because I tell
it might be a challenge though, and that's what I don't want to do. Because when my mother used to say little things to me, I'm just like, "What you talking about? Like I'm out here."
And I tell the kids, I'm like, look, man, the decision that you're making right now is gonna lead down the wrong road. Sir, I call them out, sir, ma'am.
Mhm.
I hate to say it, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're gonna end up maybe dead or in jail.
No, that's what it is.
Neither.
That's what
I
it
said
is.
you have to look. I said, come on. I said, and you're talking about the family unit. A lot of these parents these days, these days, they want to be their child's friend.
Yes.
Or if they single parents, they don't have the time. Like that's the whole thing. If you working, if a parent is working all the time, and like in my case, single parent mother, I after reflecting, because once you're sitting down, you got a lot of time to reflect. It's just like, hold on, what you thought was happening and what was actually happening is different. So without people actually being present to be able to say, is one thing when I was at grandma's house, but it's another thing when we at our own spot. Like, so it's not always somebody present.
Well, it was just me and my mom at the house. It was 10 of us.
Mm-hmm.
I was the last of the litter.
Oh, so you had 9 other people.
I had nine other people, and
Yeah.
my brothers that was down in North Carolina with me, they taught me how to hunt, fish, and do a lot of things down there. And I had uncles, had a hog farm and stuff, and I learned how to work at a young age to be that provider, not knowing that one day that, okay, I might end up having a family, but to provide for a family and to be there, sound, just there. It was my mom. They say that a woman can't teach a man to be a man. I don't necessarily agree with that terminology, because for the
I was going to say, the terminology I don't agree with.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that, because my mom taught me a lot. She taught me a lot on how to be an individual, how to provide for myself. My mom taught me at a young age, get in here, boy, learn how to cook, because one day you may have to do it for yourself.
And he can cook.
And how about we have responsible adults? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like that's
true.
the whole thing. Like let's teach, because it is wild to come across adults. You don't know how to cook.
Right.
But I think also generationally, like I feel like my uncle is a little bit special because in his age group, it's a lot of men that don't. It's a lot of that don't know how to cook. It's like women do everything. And so I feel like generationally, like I feel like our age group in the 30s, our late 30s, early 40s, like more men are domestic. You know what I'm saying? Like, and older generation, like in my dad's age range, they wasn't domestic. They were literally just providers.
They weren't latchkey kids. Well, he said that but he had a whole lot of people around.
Yeah,
like
but
the 90s, when that whole thing
right,
happened,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I said it's generational.
It's definitely
It's definitely
definitely like, so it's always one of those things where I assess things based off of what it is.
Right.
Like when people say, my man say, yeah, I was one of the YNs, like, you know, every generation produced another generation.
Yeah,
Gonna do more.
for sure,
Like,
for
straight
sure.
up, like, you can look at it in the positive way or the negative way. Like, either a person that's going to excel more because of who came before them, or a person that's going to do more because, and that's just how it go.
Put the car
Like
in drive
when
and put it in
I
reverse.
got older, and I was like looking at what my cousins was doing or what they were saying, I was like, oh, I thought it was so much more. I had one of my younger cousins was telling me, yeah, I thought you was doing so much more, and I'm like, nah, this is what I was doing.
That's how I felt about some of my
And that's how it wasn't on the legit side though. So I never fault the young people for doing what they don't, because all they doing is what they heard
repeat
from
it.
us.
Yeah.
And so
Cycle.
when I get with them, it just be like, look, this is the reality, because I ain't had the technology. I ain't had the exposure to the stuff in what you had. I did what I did in this, but guess what that got me?
Mm-hmm.
Whole lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what
I
that
don't
got them
mind.
other people? You know what I'm saying?
I don't mind.
They life. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's a whole thing of the reality don't change. Like, this is what happens when you do this. I say it's been people that was just home or doing well. I say if they either in another league or they still been existing where I couldn't. I was living in a bathroom with another man. How you like that?
You know, I sat here listening. I like to listen, hear a lot, and it's funny because I actually learned something just now. Your perspective is so interesting because it helped me and brought me out of my perspective. So if you all just sit here and gave surface information, there'd be another level of understanding that I would have missed, no matter how long we sit here. And listening, your perspective was there was a father, but he was working, and he wasn't present to do some of the fatherly things.
Mhm.
He was doing the husband and household things, but
Yeah.
not the fatherly things, right? Yours was you had a lot of brothers and sisters, and after they moved on, yeah, once they moved on, it was you and your mom. But she didn't stop and expect you to learn what you need to learn from the others that came before you. She still kept telling you to do X, Y, Z. No matter what it was, you did it. You learned it. You're a better man. You are a man because of it, not a man because of anything else other than what she showed you. So that brought to a point of why I said what I said earlier about not saying something negative about women. Because if you're in a school system, you're a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I can count on one hand how many male teachers I had, and probably 2 or 3 of them were physical education.
Yeah.
So everything I know came from a human, and that means 85% were from women, right? So if you know anybody, male or female, young or old, no matter their race, religion, if they just straight hood or if they're straight bougie, if they say they cannot learn from women, run fast. Because they would do exactly what he said. Some people gonna help you go this way, some people gonna help you go that way.
Mhm.
That individual that can't learn from a woman will go down and pull you with them beyond a shadow of a doubt. And the reason why is because they are not open to a perspective from somebody that is different from them. If I can't learn, and this you know what, this DMV podcast, we can say it now, you need to be said, right?
Yes.
Okay. If I can't learn from a white man, I'm gonna pull you down. That white man got something to teach me. He could teach me how to be a man, how to be an entrepreneur, how to be a lot of stuff. It's only one thing he can teach me. It's how to be black. It's the only thing he can't teach me.
Mhm.
He could be racist and hateful and talk all kind of mess to me. My old mentality, he'd have a busted jaw and I would have did time. He'd have been missing his car. I'd have did some time. He'd have been dead. I'd have did some time. But my present mentality that took me doing things like this, doing things like listening to those women in school, in church, that help along the way raise me. Listening to them got me to the point of go, you keep going, I'm gonna give you a warning. And then next thing you know, I was giving people 3 warnings. Next thing you know, I was walking away from stuff.
So you
Right?
learn patience.
So I had to develop it. And so to me, that's the whole point to be talking about being a man, and that's capital letters by far, because you have to be intentional about being a man. So I guess my point is with the patience, with everything, it's all about developing character.
Right.
So to the point of people being around people that bring you down, or being in an environment where there's a lot of negativity, a lot of just, I don't know, tough talk running your mouth, it's going to teach you something. You either going to go along with the program, or you're going to figure out how to do the exact opposite. So everything is a lesson.
I got a question.
So
and this is for everybody. So do you feel like when it comes to, because vulnerability as a man is something that is tough for some men. So do you feel like, you say you can learn from a woman, do you feel like, is that where you learn your vulnerability from? Because women tend to be more vulnerable, or do you feel like you learn vulnerability as you got older and started going through different things that cause you to be more in tune with your emotion?
Real quick, right? I wanted to address something that you said. So I was with but I'm definitely getting with that. Good man, Justin McLean, been in education in DC for a long time. Hit me to Real Men Teach, and he was saying it's a brother on there. I can't remember the name, but it's on Indeed. He said he follows him because he wanted to say that there's more educators other than PE teachers, right? And we both volunteer our time at Coolidge with the Young Kings of Purpose.
Oh, y'all might
right?
know some of my babies.
Oh yeah. So but there's that. But when it comes to you know what I'm saying, when you say being vulnerable, people gotta learn what that is. And yes, I had to become an adult with being vulnerable, but then I also, like I said, with my experience, when I got to I don't care what you think, and I sought out therapy because I knew I needed help. Like, I was willing to be vulnerable in those spaces that were safe, and then also took chances with certain people to see what it is, because the way I live is what I live, you know. And so it's something that takes a amount of courage that everybody is not willing to have, and it's something that, you know, being vulnerable means that you're going to be exposed. So I don't think just a woman can teach you that, you know what I'm saying, or just anybody, because still the women in your life can make you feel like you can't be vulnerable.
That goes to that safe space
conversation.
Y'all know how I feel about that, ladies. Y'all know.
So it's not that's not a, you just learn that dealing with that. Never had those conversations with my mother. Look, this is what happened. I'm gonna tell you this story real quick. My mother used to always tell me, be honest, be honest, be honest. But when my honesty put her in tears, I said, oh, I can't do that no more. Like, cause now that's a breach of contract. You made me feel bad about telling you something, and then you didn't follow back up and let me know why this was. Cause I'm a kid, so I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
We did. We had last week podcast. We talked about questions that we wanted to ask men, and one of those things, one of the statements that we had during that show is sometimes, one, there are some women who don't understand. They say they want honesty, but they don't understand what truly comes with that. And the same thing with men, where there are women who want honesty, but you can't tell us how we should react to that honesty.
I'm a kid.
Understand, it should have been a conversation.
I'm trusting you. No, it's no conversation, because I don't even know how to think or take any of this, because what I'm doing is what you say. So on that aspect, I'm gonna say, before you open that door, make sure that you straight for whatever comes with it. Because I'm not gonna tell a person, oh yeah, I'm gonna handle this however, and then when it come to it, I don't handle it properly. Cause then that's a breach on my end. Right.
But I just feel like the way someone responds to you is not your responsibility. So that's what I'm saying. Like with the honesty, like Yes, they hold
we
hold
talking
on.
about kids though.
Yes, but
Yes,
this is
but
where you
A
build.
kid,
That's
a kid
where
is
you
not going to be
build.
able to grasp
yeah,
that.
so
That's why I said for me,
this is why she said the conversation should have been had coming from your mother, should have a follow-up conversation
yeah, no, I
as to that.
agree.
So that's what we're saying.
I
Like we
agree.
don't
I agree.
discount
But
anything.
that was one of them things that was just like, oh yeah, this is what happened. Guess what I'm gonna do?
Because I am a very big advocate of being a safe space for all of the men in my life.
But
and
you know
not,
that
and
that wasn't a term that was.
we know that
How
now,
long
but
ago was that
yeah,
even?
but
the term?
now we moving with the times, and we know that okay, being able to be a safe space, being able to be vulnerable, and not throwing it back up in his face when he is in a vulnerable state, or it's another, or y'all get in an argument, and because I feel like we see that a lot with men and women. So then it causes people to always be closed off, to always shut down, to not open up, to not release whatever it is that they have. And then now they walk around as these angry people. And it's just because they feel like they can't trust anybody with their feelings. And that's one of the biggest things. That's one of the reasons I'm still in therapies, because I don't feel safe emotionally with men outside of my platonic relationships that I have with men. Romantically, I don't feel safe with my vulnerability, which is why I'm still in therapy. But that's a father wound.
That's a great tool though, because with all right, now check this out. Told you incarcerated all them years. Niggas is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Then on top of that, when they talk about people don't gossip, men don't gossip.
I get
Men
all the
gossip,
tea from
but
the
look,
men at
so
work.
look, check this out, right? So first of all, if you're in the county jail, that's pre-trial, so you can't be talking about your situation because somebody will jump on your case and do whatever they need to do to try to see how they can get free. So the other thing is with what you sharing, you in a closed space with the same people for a lot of time. So you still got to be selective on what you talk about or whatever, because a person will weaponize that against you. So when you on that, then you got to think about how you maneuver. So me knowing that also, even with healthy conversations, what you know more than me, if your education level ain't more than mine's, you know what I'm saying? We in here for the same stuff. You probably did is equally or more wild stuff that I did, or you haven't. So what conversation we gonna have? And I figure that I'm a benefit from you, and gotta worry about whether this gonna get out. So that was one of the things in which I sought out therapy, because I knew, like, first of all, I had to. I mean, there's the confidentiality, right? But then I had to ask questions about some stuff that I ain't had answers for. Like, how the hell was I gonna raise or be a parent from behind the wall? Ain't one no dude gonna really, like, some people can tell me suggestions, but it's like, all right, how much success is you gonna have? And then I wanted somebody else's input, or what do I do with this? And what can I speak and this just be right here and I ain't gotta worry about it going nowhere. So those things, when you say with the therapy, like, yeah, it's a healthy thing. I know certain men that don't really want to deal with that. Certain people, it's stigmas. And I know, like, it's a man that I swear I never forget this dude. And I don't have no medical background, but I swear he might be paranoid schizophrenic. But that was my man, and I'm dealing with him just like, oh, you don't want to go to therapy for real. But he from a whole nother class with, nah, we don't do that.
No, we need therapy because if you, like Shayla was saying, she don't feel safe within the romantic relationships, and that might be a father thing. But as men, we go through things every day, you know what I'm saying, that we bottle in, or we just think that it's life. Like, we just keep it pushing, keep it rolling, and then all of a sudden we're not sleeping at night, or them hours getting shorter of the time that we're resting, or we're quick to snap at just the smallest things. And you can always tell people who got a lot of built up, trauma in them, where, when you talk to them, everything is so defensive and they're always on defense, you know what I'm saying? So, and they can't control their emotions. So, yeah, I was in therapy. I'm no longer in therapy, but of course, like, it's not like, okay, because I'm not in therapy that I'm completely healed. You know, it's more of a time thing, but like just saying that out of my mouth, I make time to do a lot of things that I want to do. You know what I'm saying? And I make a lot of time for, you know, frivolous things that I want to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if I can make time to go get a shape up or go make time to go get my hair done, or, you know what I'm saying, I can do 30 to 45 minutes of therapy and just talking to somebody. Or, you know what I'm saying, like, even if you wanted to save money, there has to be we encounter so many people, you know, even if you work from home, but you have a outside life. I just feel like if you can't talk to the people around you, then why are they around you?
That needs to the question I have.
It's like, why are they even around you? So if you can't even speak to them about an issue that you're having, or, hey, let me run this by you. Am I thinking the right way on this? You know what I'm saying? I'm not married. So like, I don't know about like the marriage thing, but if I was in a relationship and, you know what I'm saying, I can go to my cousin that has been dealing with maybe the same issues. Maybe I could talk to them about how to deal with those type of situations, or just explain to them how I'm feeling. But I don't really think that, you know what I'm saying, not all men might not be ready for therapy, but there has to be someone around that can help you figure things out, or just hear another opinion.
It's always somebody somewhere that you could talk to. You should always have someone that you could, as they say, let me bounce this off of you in your life, because that's that release that you would get. Sometimes you just want to talk it out. You may not even want them to say anything to you. Just let me get this off my chest and let me just release it. And if you got that person that you could talk to them. Because if you keep that stuff bottled up on the inside, it's going to come out. It's going to come out either to the right person or to the wrong person. And it's going to be a situation. Because you could sit back, you could be your best friend, and they may say something that hit that trigger and you spaz. That's because you kept that stuff bottled up. And then your man's looking at you like, what's wrong with you? So we get ready to do this, you know, because you got to have that release. Either, and I've talked to a pastor before, just pour my heart out. Went to church on that Sunday, that was the message. And I said, yep.
So I got a question on that one.
Not talk to you again.
Did the message point you out, or did the message
just everything? Just everything that I told him.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Was it the subject of the message, or were you brought out of? Like, was your name mentioned?
No, my name wasn't mentioned. Okay. But everything that I told him, he preached.
But see, this was the other thing, right? That would happen. Right? So I couldn't see somebody whenever I wanted to while I was in. So therapeutic journaling, I'm always like pushing it, right? Because like you see, writing freedom, that's my brain. I wrote my freedom. I'm supposed to still been in there. Like they gave me life all suspended for 50 years. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm out here with you. So it was things that I was able to write and come to an answer just by releasing it on paper. And that's another thing that's confidential unless somebody grabbing it. But even in there, where I've been, either you gonna say certain things or you not. Because if you dealing with something, but then once you convicted, it don't really matter. But that was something that I turned in because just like you'll pray, and that's between you and God, I put that down and it was something that I can release and I'll be good. And that was something that worked for me. And then not only did I was able to release, but I was really able to come to solutions. Like that was the thing that was so profound with that whole process. I'll write some stuff and it'd be like, and then I just be going through my thoughts, and then I really figure out like, okay, this is how I handle it. So there's various forms of therapy. It's not just talking to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And what you experienced is exactly why we gotta be selective to disclose certain too, because that would have been a problem. I don't care if you with the clause or not, because if I'm coming to you in confidentiality, then you just breached that. And so I know who you are now. And so now everything else that you done did, your credit is bad. You know what I'm saying? So now what we gonna do? Because you can't take that back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah.
Even if it was just trying to deliver or convey a broader message to everybody, because, just to deliver a message, you know what I'm saying? That's, I'm not going to take it to the extreme of how you take it, no offense. But, and I feel like that's where you was asking that question about after he shared his story. And that's why I felt like you asked that question. Was it just a message or was he signaling you out? But it could be just, okay, taking what you gave me, the information that you give me, let me turn this into a teaching lesson.
You could have asked that man first.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true. That's man time. That's man time. But we invest in titles too much.
Here's the other part.
And that's the thing. The title, and that's where the church hurt come from, because he invested in the title. And this man, he felt like, I can tell this person this because he's a pastor.
He didn't do nothing wrong.
No,
there to a certain extent, depending on your perspective, man, and what you've been through in life. To open up to a pastor, it's perfectly fine. You ain't do no wrong. So doesn't mean you can't. Here's another pastor. I can't open up to him because I know how they do. That's what we do. We generalize.
Right.
That's church hurt. But here's the intelligent thought process behind that. You know what? He was wrong. Okay. He didn't call me out. All right. You know what? If you weren't bold enough to go to a pastor, you're bold enough to go to God. God, can I open up to someone else? And wait for his answer. Because now you have learned that you can't do that.
There's a message behind it.
We called best friend when we was 5,
that
10,
title.
15, 20, 25. We probably don't always call that person best friend anymore. We might not even be connected to them anymore.
That's right.
A lot of times it's life change. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's something they did.
Right. Correct.
Right. I had somebody I was really, really close to. Like really. I know all his business. He knows all mine back then. Okay. He did some mess. Some capital S mess. Okay. And I looked at it from a distance. And you know what I did? Now, this is when, back in the day, I was probably 19 or 20 years old. I looked at it and I laughed. I laughed because I was angry. There's so much I could have did with my bad attitude, anger, punching holes in walls, self that I was. He could have been just laying right there in the middle of the street at that very moment with my bare hands. No punking out with a gun, no punking out with a knife, no baseball bat, my bare hands. But you know what I chose to do? I chose to laugh. You know why? Because I was too young. I'm still learning life. That was a lesson. As a grown man, as a kid, we learn lessons every day. So all this going back to the vulnerability thing, you don't always get to choose your vulnerability.
Nope.
You do not always get to choose your vulnerability. Nope. That's the crazy part about life. That's what makes you smart. That's what makes you wise. Well, it can make you wise if you choose to take that knowledge and use it properly. Understand how you get to that point. That's what makes you wise. That's why I like to listen. And then when I talk, I can go for it because I'm like, I appreciate everybody's perspective, but the perspective that I got on something going back even before the vulnerability, talking about kids and raising them and who we were before we got to where we are now. The biggest thing is provide what you've been denied. If you were denied the opportunity to talk to the title pastor, which was still a human, came from flesh, he wasn't born a pastor. In fact, what qualifies him is because he probably had a lot of mistakes in his life, so God can use him. And he still hasn't learned everything he needed to learn, even up to the moment where you share with him, okay? He is at a point when he's told something, he can't hold water, right? Didn't we say that? Men gossip?
Gossip more than
If he was a male pastor,
Okay.
which this is the part, this is something I wanted to say earlier. He's not a man pastor at that point. And I'm not trying to talk bad about him. It's just the reality. He wasn't a man pastor, he was a male pastor. Male by birth, man by choice. Okay. So that's why I was like, well, who is he? Is he still that way? I want to meet him. I want to listen to him. I want to see how can he change the lives of everyone in his congregation, including men like us that have been hurt, whether it's church hurt, relationship hurt, best friend hurt, financial hurt, job hurt,
Parent hurt.
you know, parent hurt. You done got somebody that snuck up behind you and bust you beside your head for no reason. What's up? What's that phrase we were talking about the other day? How you gonna be mad at me for being mad at you for what you did to me? Right? So if you think about all of this, put it all together, we are vulnerable. I'm vulnerable right now.
Yeah.
Because at any moment, she could ask me, she knows a lot of my past. This is my niece. She could ask me any question, but out of respect, I'll give the right answer. Not the answer she wants to hear, but the reality, what happened and why. I got angry the other day because my daughter was just tripping. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just need to go somewhere and just break stuff. Because I don't want to do it in front of her, but at the same time, like you said, you need a release. Well, you talk to somebody is a release. Me talking right now is a release. There's nothing, we're not going to do everything right. We're not going to do everything. We can't expect nobody to do everything right. Just you learn a valuable lesson. I can't tell him nothing no more. Now here's the problem. Has he talked to other people? And I just love it. I just love going back to this because this is the way I think now. Was he counseling other people? Was he allowing other people over to him? What if someone else had the exact same situation and he was talking about them? It's like walking down the street and you hear a conversation, and as you walk past, they're like, yeah, that's him. Ha 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 ha. First thing I can assume is that they're talking about me. There he is right there. I'm a he. I'm walking past and I'm looking back and I'm like, y'all laughing at me? What's not going? And they're like, oh no, the dude over there, this dude over there in that door right there, the wide open door. That's him. Look at him. And I looked through it and I laughed too because of something he had on that was purposely funny. It's all in perspective. It's
the message.
Just letting stuff roll off you like water on a duck's back. Just let it go.
But also from a church hurt perspective, because that's what led me to COA community.
Here we go. Here we go.
Because I
Turn up, Shayla.
I went to a small church before I ended up at the church that I am now. But I'll just say I really do love the fact that I can text both my pastor and the assistant pastor. I got their numbers, and they're very reachable. But the church that I came from before I left, my father warned the man to leave me alone. But he didn't leave me alone. And there was a communication that me and this pastor had. And that Sunday on the program, he was literally taking shots. So it's literally, because it was oh, don't forget about what the church did for you, that. And that was the message on Sunday. It's only 12 people in the church, so you can only be talking to me. And then upon further conversation, he didn't talk to anybody else the way he talked to me via text. So that's how I knew that you was talking about me.
So you have receipts on.
So yeah. But the thing about it is
the best thing that ever happened to you though.
It is, because I love my church.
There you go. God was like, you ain't leave when I told you to. Something got to happen.
Yeah, but the way I left on that Sunday was not of the Lord. But
he was real petty.
I really was.
I can guarantee you. There was a moment before that, or that was the moment when God was like, it's time for you to move on.
And every time I go back and visit, I'm always like, this is why I left.
Like the last time.
The last time. And even around, because my father still goes to that church. We had my mother's funeral at that church. And even in that, with the passing of my mother and going back to the church, my family got to see why I left the church. And every time I go back to that church, I'm like, this is always something. It's always something. This is why I'm at community of hope.
So I think to the point that I don't know if I really made it, but to the point is, not only something happened and you learned, you moved on, and you're happy where you are now.
Very happy, very blessed.
But if that had never happened, you could be in a stuck life.
But that was the thing. In that position, I'm always all about growth. I don't the only place I'm really kind of content right now is work, because I don't want no more responsibility. So I'm okay with just being a teacher in the classroom. But in other perspectives of life, it's always about growth for me. And so it was stale. I was in the back of the church doing homework, not paying that man no attention. You giving us the same sermons every Sunday. We heard this when you go to outpreach, you just preach this to us. So it got boring, it got old, it got stale. So it was just for me. And then I started looking for a church home, but one of the ministers that's at our church now, that was one of my mother's sons. You couldn't tell her that she didn't give birth to that man. But that's what led me to there. Ultimately, I am in one of the best places. I don't ever see me leaving that church. I really shout out to my two church members in the audience. So, but it's all about you take things and grow. And I think that's really what we talk about, especially when we talk about religion and church hurt. It really can cause people to stray away, and it can, because any type of hurt can cause you to stray or do other things that you wouldn't normally do, but it's you hurt, so you don't know how to deal with it.
So you know what I did when I was growing up, and I know I cut you off, sorry, but to the point, because I'm not trying to rebut what anyone says. Trust me, I'm not trying to rebut what anyone says, but I want to take
it's everybody's opinion.
I want to look at it like this. So I remember I was just sharing this with somebody earlier. I said, yeah, man, I remember I used to go to club 3-4 nights a week, every week, for a very long time. I never grew from it.
You was in the go-go.
Right? Go head. love go-go's. Yeah, if I ain't had to be a go. It was just the fact. I was drawn to an atmosphere that tickled my fun side. It pulled on my wanting to be entertained side. Because I ain't know nothing about life. I just wanted to be entertained. something changed at some point in time. Now, when I got to church and I got church hurt, it took 3 things to happen for me to be like, you know what? God did tell me to move on. But hold up. I didn't do that when I was in the club. When I was in the club, nah. There's somebody walking up on me trying to start a fight. Somebody spilled a drink on me. Somebody stepped on my shoes. Somebody bumped into me too hard and never looked back to say, hey, I'm sorry. All kind of stuff happened. But I kept going. And when we go to church, we expect everybody in church to be perfect, but they came in the same way we came in.
But it's not the same people every
But
Sunday.
to that point,
Or you talking in the club.
I know, but to that point, this is not just about church. This is about life. Every time I go to the grocery store and I come out, somebody done parked too close. Every time I go to Chick-fil-A, they trying to offer my daughter ice cream, and I'm not giving her ice cream at 2:00. Every time I get on the highway to go to work, somebody's cut me off or ride my tail. It's life, man. This is just adapt and overcome and provide what we've been denied. If I'm being denied good space in traffic, create good space for the next person. If I'm being denied,
I got road rage.
if I'm being denied, there you go. I know that too. If I'm being denied the opportunity to have an older brother, all my friends got older brothers. I need to go find somebody to be my older brother. Right? It's my actions. If all I seen was people growing up being drunk and I didn't like it, then I need to be sober. If all I saw was people smoking weed, I smoked weed. If that's all I saw, that's all I'm exposed to. People expect that's all I'm going to be. How people say, you ain't going to never be nothing. You're just going to be just like so-and-so. If I didn't like it, I got to move away from it. If all I did was growing up seeing people treat women badly, cheating on them, beating on them, like lying on them, and I didn't like it, I need to choose better and do the opposite and be intentional about it. You ask me everything.
At what age did you come to that conclusion? Go like this real quick.
Oh, it's probably all over my head.
Exactly. But when did you come to that conclusion? At what age?
So that's the interesting part. Earlier I talked about male by birth, man by choice. Bible talks about, as a child, did things as a child, speaking, acting, all that. When I became a man, I put all them childish things away.
Which don't tell.
That's the part. That's the part that we can reword that and change everything. We can reword that and change everything in every man's life. Because if we word it, the thus is the this of another, that's great for if that's how you want to talk.
No, I'm asking you for you.
I know, and I'm trying to. I guess what my point is that if you reword that and put it in layman's terms, every male will grab hold to it and run with it and become a man. So for me, when I became a man, okay, the last part of me that became a man was my emotions.
At what age? What age?
So at what age? The last part of me that became a man, I think my emotions, I was probably well into my 30s.
I asked that because, right, this is what was happening, right? I was in the church real heavy before I jumped back out into the streets again and started nutting up. And I had an expectation based off of what was told, right? Because we don't come up with these ideas on our own. We don't. As kids, like we're given this is how this is supposed to be. So when she's saying what she's saying, I understand that because that's what we're taught. That's what we're given, right? So when you feel betrayed, it hurt a little bit differently. And so when I was in that phase where I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to from the church and the church ain't showing up, then I had to realize these just people. And it took me to get down after the fact that people won't deal with people's stuff. I can't look at this institution or any other institution other than that because this is consistent. But I had to mature. and deal with that. So I understand, and everything that what you're saying, that comes from a very mature perspective. But when a person is in that and they've been sold that, that's where the hurt comes from, because it's like, hold on, you told me, or you said, or you preached, or you know what I'm saying? So that's when I had to get around and dealing with some stuff to where I matured, and it was more so, you know what? It's God. It's not this entity or anything else. It's God. And I had to learn people gonna be people. So that was my whole thing with when that's why I was even suggesting when I say, man, writing, listen, you put that together, man. We say in the beginning was the word, and the word was what? And word was with God. And nothing was created without. So when I started understanding the power of that, I had to also start reconstructing how I even use my words. Cause I wrote myself to prison too, but I also wrote myself out. So once I started understanding that, it was like, man, you know what? I could have a good relationship with God with doing this. And when I found people that was that, because I couldn't look to, like right now, I'm at my church and stuff like that. I telling people like, I ain't know you when I was going through my struggle. I don't care about what y'all telling me. I don't care about how you a mega church, none of this stuff. Where were you? Yeah. Just like, what was it? What's that, Matthew 26? Let me say, where were you when I was hungry? Where I was pouring all of this other stuff when I was in prison? So I'm looking at them like, yeah, y'all had this, and you still don't have an effective ministry the way that I think that it could be. And the AME church is international. So I'm like, why you don't have the juice? Because you don't care about this like I care about it, because you haven't dealt with it. So I take me up out of it. It's not a personal thing, because my personal thing is what I'm gonna be doing. But for them, they not gonna understand it, because all of them, they go the scholastic route. They're trying to get degrees. They're trying to be this, that, and the third, because it's a whole nother system. And I understand that, but young people don't. So when a young person is coming through something in which their mother, their grandmother, or whatever said this is what it is, because they've had different experience, it's a little bit different when they feel like they've been betrayed or not served in the same way. And so that's something now that with us having all this information, experience, technology, conversations, that we got to give these young people like, look, your relationship with God gonna be personal. Sometimes people going to disappoint you. These
That's right.
churches ain't, you know what I'm saying, they built with people.
Right,
But
right,
what?
right.
God is God, and this is what
Right.
worked for me. Hopefully this will work for you, because I felt it. Like for me, it would have been a whole nother approach, because
Listen.
I've been like, hey, you wanna holler at me real quick?
Can we step outside? Step outside.
Listen, I am a free civilian. I am not doing nothing criminal. But we gonna have a talk, because it has to be sometimes.
You know what's funny? You miss there's people that's locked up that's freer than people that's free. Just because of their thinking. Change your mind, change your life. And that's what you did.
The renewing of the mind.
Change your mind, change your life. Gotta do it. Cause I was locked up without being behind bars for a while. I thought life was supposed to be boom, 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 and ended up being bam, bam, bam. Yeah, it's a whole lot. In the last 25 years that changed for me personally. It doesn't mean everything changed, but it was the right things that changed. I realized that the world is full of sayings, and the world's sayings will fail you. The world's sayings will fail us. And if you want to talk about men, if you want to talk about black men, if you want to talk about whatever, the mental health side of us, or just our faithfulness, our commitment, the world has failed us. America has failed us. And all these sayings. If anybody can throw out a saying right now, I can probably debunk it within 2 minutes.
It's
'Cause
cliche.
you talk about writing, and that's what I like to do. I do a lot of writing, and I don't share a lot of it with people. When I do share it, it has to be a purpose behind it. But um, I just look at the fact that I listen to you, man. It's just like, wow, this is amazing. We got a brother out here that's helping youth. He's been through something. He didn't let it stop him. There's probably nothing anybody could ever say to make you doubt yourself, right?
Nah,
And it better never ever be, because you done been through too much.
absolutely.
You know, I mean, seriously, that's the way it's supposed to be. It's not like that. Now, here's the problem: you could have had a cakewalk over life, but you think you'd be a strong black man right now?
Nah, they say
Not as strong as you are, though, right?
what they say, easy times create weak people.
Yeah, that's
Hard times create strong people. So I appreciate the journey. Unfortunately, it cost some people some stuff. Cost me
Yeah.
some time, you know. So it's one of those things where I don't regret it at all. And
Yeah,
that's
good.
one of the things where I feel like it has to be a switch of the mindset as to where we appreciate adversity.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go through it,
Yeah,
that's what gives us our purpose. Whatever you gone through, made you feel a certain way. Just like everything which we all feel passionate about what we feel passionate about because of what we've gone through.
it's that weight. If this was 100-pound weight, and I say, hey, snatch that up for me real quick so I can clean underneath of it. You're gonna just snatch it up, or you're gonna position yourself to pick it up properly, right? Because there's some resistance there. And once you get it up, you're like, oh, hold up. Let me put it down for a minute. Let me grab it another way. And now you can hold it even better because you saw what it was like and you made an adjustment. And that's what your life is, man. It's a big adjustment. You probably not saying anybody else hasn't gone through anything, but what I'm hearing is you've made a major adjustment. Unfortunately, not everybody else can make that adjustment. So we were talking about I forgot what it was we were talking about earlier. But you was like, well, how can you do that if this is what but you did it? And I don't even know if you heard yourself say that.
Oh no, I was just presenting the question. You know, I got literature and everything.
Okay, no, and I
that.
understand. But to that point,
Like we working.
yeah, to that point, to how can I say it? The same way he said how he shared some with the pastor, and then he heard it over the pulpit, and and then you presented a question, for the panel, and it's like the way you presented it, it's the exact same thing. It's how was it worded before it came out their mouth? How was it received?
Yeah, we know delivery and presentation is definitely
right.
everything.
So that's how it is with life. Whatever it deals us, it's a card game. Just let it deal you something.
So that leads me to my next question: is how do y'all handle failure, and how does it affect your pride?
Failure is not.
It's not an option.
Huh?
This is my trainer, y'all, and his company's called Failure is Not an Option.
Exactly. It all depends on your mentality. Mm-hmm. It all depends on your mentality whenever you're talking about failure. Is it a failure?
Or is it a lesson?
Or is it just a lesson that you didn't grasp all the way, or you didn't think it through?
Is that something that you learned over time, or something that
that's
you felt
something
like you had?
That's something that, as I was growing up as a young man, I was told, some of the gentlemen in the neighborhood, whatever you put your mind to do, that's what you do. Now, you may get some resistance, and you may hit a snag, but that don't mean it's a failure. Mm-hmm. That means you just stop. You hit that block, you stop. You got to reassess the situation and figure it out and continue on, because I don't look at failure. I look. That's how I look at failure, as not a failure.
I'm gonna be all the way honest. So my company is called Failure is Not an Option. But of course, in order to, how to deal with failure, you got to experience failure first. Mm-hmm. And I'm a Virgo in its truest form, like truest form. That he is. And I'm talking about as far as putting a lot of expectation on yourself. And for me, I always told my aunt, I said, when I was young, I used to say, well, this is what I'm gonna be doing at this age and this age and this age and this age. And in my Virgo form, that age and what I already planned didn't happen. So am I looking at that as a failure as a Virgo? Hell yes. And I am the biggest critic of my own self. So failure can build a lot of character. So just because my company is named Failure is Not an Option, in order for you to win, you have to experience failure. I play team sports. I build things. I then created things. And you're going to experience some type of failure. You don't have to look at it, though. It's about perception. So in order to build good character, we got to go through failure. We got to go through some type of trials and tribulation. So, but what separated me from being so down in my failures was perception. And like, all right, so yeah, I may have not accomplished what I had set out to do, but I have a lot of time. And a lot of people say, oh, okay, well, tomorrow isn't promised. Well, I'm already assuming and I'm already proclaiming that I'm going to be here tomorrow to work and fix my failure. All right, so then I could turn a failure to a success. So for me, and I'll never put pride in the middle of my failures. I never put pride because one thing, again, as a Virgo, as we are the biggest critic of ourselves, but we can criticize ourselves into depression. Like, you're like, oh, okay, there's nothing that nobody else outside or that knows me can say anything to hurt me. You know what's gonna hurt me? Is if I tell myself, nigga, you ain't worth shit. You are this, you are that. Every negative thing I could tell myself. Because there I go again with my Virgo spirit. Okay, I'm the highest critic of myself. So that is what hurt me. So I never put pride when I fell at something. It's always a lesson, it's always perception. Because we're gonna fail. There's no such thing as somebody just living and proceeding, with just a straight A life or a perfect life. You have to go through something to create something. You have to go through something to build something. You have to go through some type of failure to build character. And so the pride is a characteristic, but you don't have to add that characteristic into your failures. And I think that's where a lot of people get it mixed up, where is if I fail at something, then my pride would get in the way to tell me, oh, I just can't do that something. And it should be the other way around. You never should put pride in the middle of your failures, no matter what, even if it's like the worst of the worst. You put pride there, you destroy your own self.
Why you looking at me? All right, so I'll chime in. That was good. That was good.
Appreciate it.
I'll say this: if someone allows pride to creep into where they failed and they get stuck there, that means pride was there all along. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say it like the only way I can say it. So pride is this gas that creeps under the door that you can't smell. It's odorless. And it's so bad. Not only will you take yourself out, you take your friends out, you take your family out, you take everything out, and you be standing there left alone holding yourself. I had to deal with pride in 2 areas of my life. And it took a lot of self-examination, it took a lot of isolation, it took a lot of just doing whatever my mentor said. It took me back to have to go, you know what? I got to start over. And it's funny because we're talking about failure, right? And failure at any point dealing with my pride in certain areas. All right, so I'm specifically talking about excessive self-esteem type of pride, not the healthy pride, not the low self, but the excessive self-esteem. I never thought about failure, and I think it has something to do with how I was brought up. Okay, I never said, "Oh, I'm never gonna let this happen again. I'm not doing that no more. I'm not gonna try this no more. It's all over." I dealt with the pride, moved on. But when it came to other things like trying to be successful at something that someone else was successful at, that was a failure to think I can do it just because somebody else did it. I had to find my own niche, my own path. But I still use what I failed in as a stepping stone. I got a lot of failures. It's one of the things that makes me strong now. I got a lot of failures. A lot of things I failed at. Fatherhood, failed at being a brother, failed at being a great son, failed at being a businessman. I failed at following God. Failed at picking relationships.
We're not gonna talk about that today.
Yeah,
50-50 chance, man. 50-50 chance.
Focus on failure, right? but truth be told, I failed at a lot of stuff, but that's why I'm still standing. If I never failed, I could fall even easier.
And it never stopped you from moving forward.
Right? Never stopped me from.
It's not an option.
I am
Not an option.
Not an option.
Not an
I'm
option.
blessed today because of failing, recognizing it, not recognizing it on my own sometimes. Sometimes somebody had to tell me, hey, slow your roll. Oh, wow. And after a while you think about it later, you just go, yeah, I blew that. But how do I deal with it? Don't stop. Somebody said, can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Oh,
Can't stop, won't stop.
Pause.
not the Diddy version.
Pause.
Not it.
Now no oil there.
No oil. I ain't even talking about the New York side of rap on that one. We can bring it back, come back down here. But yeah, it's a lot. That's a lot. We don't have enough time to talk about. Not even one areas that I failed or succeeded. But what I can say is, without failure, you can't even count that you're successful. You really can't.
Mm-hmm.
Because say if $1 million on this table, they're telling me it's mine. I take the $1 million, go do what I got to do with it. Boom, boom, boom. Everything is great. I ain't even scratched the surface of being successful by taking that $1 million and turning it into 10 million, because I haven't failed at it. If I lose part of that money, now I got to figure out what to do with less.
Improvise.
And then get it back and let it grow to where it was supposed to grow when it was $1 million that I should have turned it to 10 million. Can I turn that 100,000 to 10 million?
Would you say that was a failure, or was that just mismanagement of what you had?
Or the learning
I would-
experience.
learning experience.
Yeah, it's just a learning
Because
experience.
he never learned how to have that money. Never had
If
a
you
million.
can't manage 1,000, how you gonna manage 1,000,000?
That's a big thing in a black
But that's
community.
our culture,
that's
period.
our culture. Yeah,
That's our culture.
So that comes with everything when we talk about lack of exposure, right?
Mhm.
So when it comes to failure, I think it has gotten a negative connotation where it's just it's part of the game.
It's
Listen,
a part of life.
I was a failure. When y'all was talking about that, I was thinking about an old Jay-Z joint off the can. I'm gonna be a failure surrounded by what he say, guns, drugs,
and
paraphernalia, like showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when you in the when you in a jail facing life plus 20, 25, whatever it is, what else can you categorize yourself? Right? However, it's never over until it's over. Right? So there's learning lessons. There's continuously learning lessons with everything. So I applaud you. Then I ain't never man, you look good too.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
You put
We
that
all look
on,
good. We all look good. We all look good. We all look good.
But they can't even watch it. So, but it go like this, right? If we don't feel this stuff, how will we learn? So I think it's just a matter of taking that negative connotation from off of that to understanding it. Just like, look, this is what you got to do. This is the process.
That's right.
And the failure is not an option. It is no, you don't settle with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what we do. Like you because you're not gonna be where I am if you where you at because you ain't lived and you ain't done what I done. I can't. We not talking the same talk. And so that's the whole thing. Just, a lot of times it's more so accepting the process and getting people to understand that, but if you ain't lived enough, how you gonna even have that type of wisdom or understanding?
If you didn't fail a lot, my fault to cut you off. If you didn't fail enough, how can you even reflect
exactly
on how to correct that failure
or had the people around you
that's right
to give you that knowledge, right? Because I think about when you just said that, I was thinking about Floyd, right? And I say Floyd Mayweather, like, he ain't have to fail enough. He had all of the rights, like, this is how you train, this is how you get this,
and it was experience. You had your father, you had your uncle,
you had your father, you
had one of these people that went through it.
When I looked at stuff like that, my father used to be somebody, but what I remember, you smoke coke and you do dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you somebody because these people love you. You know what I'm saying? That you was whatever it is, but this is my experience, so this is what it is. So what I'm learning is, whatever it is that you done did that got to this point, I don't want to do that. But however, there's still a whole bunch of intelligence in how you deal with people that I can gain from. And because the family support that I had because of whoever you were and who you are, there's something in that. My mother still to this day loved this man that's no longer here. So it's like there's nothing, but there were some things that were shortcomings that I can learn from. So it's not even the failures that we experience, it's the failures that other people experience that let us know. And so nobody went through what I went through that let me know, like, because it was some, like, I maybe, you know what I'm saying, would have did something different, but it was just, what I seen was the single parent mother that you working multiple jobs and you depending on these people and you still lose a job and we still struggling and stuff like that. So that was my whole thing. Like, it wasn't a failure on her part because she's doing what she knows.
What she knows she can do or what she can do. What
I was doing was I'm learning from these people. And my learning from these people is not going to be the everything because my experience and my path was going to be its own. So I was going to have to take my own cuts, losses, stuff like that, and then do it, and then be able to sit with it over a time where I'm not taking nothing personal, acting like it's the end all be all, because this would end up happening, right? How many of y'all read y'all Bible? Y'all read y'all Bible? Man, there's some people in that thing that then overcame some stuff, and I'm like, hey, guess what? I can do that.
You can do that.
Like, I'm like, give me some time. If I got the time, God blesses me with some time. Guess what? I can do that because, and I've written and I've reflected on so much of this. Moses caught a body. What'd he do? Lead the people to the promised land, even if he ain't see it. You know what I'm saying? Paul was who he was before, you know what I'm saying? Saul. You know what I'm saying? Saul. You know what I'm saying? But he was who he was before he was leading people, writing and stuff like that. But he still had an education of leading people before. Like none of those people had an education of leading people before. So I'm pulling from this. And then one of my favorite, you know what I'm saying, was Joseph. Like his brothers betrayed him in such a way, and I'm talking about I'd experienced betrayal in the not like him, because it wasn't nobody that could, but when you sitting in a place and you like, owe me 10,000 on the street and I gotta borrow a 34-cent noodle. Ooh, like, I'm trying to tell you, it's a whole nother way where you gotta pray and forgive some people and think about standing over them. Like, what you
forgive but never forget.
But you know what I'm saying? I forgive them, and you know, God bless them because they ain't doing too good. But like, you know, but it be that, and it's just a matter of giving the young people the type of information and let them know, like, so it's never over. It ain't over. Like,
one thing.
Living.
My aunt told me one time, she said, Inde, you can mess up 1,000,000 times, but you still young to correct your wrongs and your failures. So never forget about that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wasn't really doing nothing that's going to get me out of here. But, you know, as a black teen or as a black man, I have a 50-50 chance every time I step out my house. But, you know, she told me, she like, yo, look, you have so much time to grow. You're still young. You can make all of these mistakes and still grow from it. You can fail, bump your head and split it open. But guess what? As long as your brain not damaged, they'll sew that thing back up.
Hey, look,
you know what?
Like,
so
real, with a lot of stuff, you just gotta get it right. One time.
One time.
Like, you could fail a whole.
You can fail 1,000,000 times.
And you get it right that one time, and you keep going. So
KFC.
that's the whole thing. Like, he was a lot older in his age, and that was one of the things where I say I appreciate what I went through because I watched so much History Channel on This Is What Made America. And all that.
That's my favorite show, bro.
On the stories, reading all of the stuff that I did. I don't have the time right now that I'm in society to read like I was. I listen to podcasts, but I was crushing books before. It's just like, it's different. So the personal development that a person goes through when they at their low points is like, it depends on the individual, but that's what the stuff that develops resilience, persistence, and character.
Perseverance, character, resilience, all of that. That's my life right
That
there.
made me think of something. So I went to Taraji P. Henson's mental health event like in October. It was amazing. I learned a lot, and I took a lot of the stuff from what I learned, and my pastor was on one of the panels as well. But I was on one of the places I went to was an all-male panel, and they talked about what manhood meant to them. And it was I believe he's a counselor at some school in DCPS. And one of the things that stuck out to me, he said, don't be a public success, but a private failure. And it made me kind of think about Diddy. Like, you see that, but behind closed doors, he was a terrible person. And like
envied everyone.
And literally failed at a lot. And I think that being able to, we always have like this image, especially when we look at men, like, you got to be the strong, like, you know, you don't never want nobody to see you sweat, or you don't never want nobody to see you low. Right, that stereotype. And I think like it's to share your failures. It's nothing wrong with that.
Right. No.
Because that is a stepping stone, but it's a teaching tool.
Yes.
Because I feel like sitting here in this conversation, everything that you all said, somebody else can take that because you already experienced that. As elders or as older people, like, we experience certain things to where we can take it back to the younger generation. I went through that, so let me give you the tools so you don't have to go through that. You don't have to experience what I experienced. And so, like, just everybody sitting here being vulnerable about like the things, some of the things they went through, and how everyone in this room has overcome some type of adversity. And there are probably things that people did have gone through that nobody knows about, but you still overcame that. And then even if that comes up in a conversation or in a space, you can still give that advice because you went through that. And so, like, I always look at my weight loss journey. I started sharing my weight loss journey because that was something that other people were going through those things and feeling the same exact things that I was feeling. And to just experience, whether I touch 1 or 1,000, it's just that I'm able to tell my story, talk about what I went through, and somebody can take that and they can move forward, or they can move differently, or I'm always asking God to bless me to bless others. And so that is one of my prayer all the time. And so, like, just sitting here listening to everything that you all are saying, like, everybody in here is blessing somebody out there, and we may never know who that is, but we planting right now. Everybody is planting seeds. Planting seeds. And it's just that this conversation is it's great to hear this, and it's great to see Black men that have overcome different things, because everybody has different backgrounds, different have been through different things, and you all are public success. You are success stories in your own right, in your own way. So I just say that to say, like, this has really been a dope.
Somebody say something. That's my stomach growling.
So as we are getting towards the close of the show, and I feel like we're gonna need a part 2 for real, because it was a lot of things that we didn't get to touch on. But as we go around the room, I do want y'all to talk about leadership, what it means to you, how it has helped you grow, and how it affects your legacy, what you want your legacy to be.
All right, so my legacy right now, I mean, I feel like when you have kids, I feel like that's your legacy. So that's what I believe in. That's just my opinion. So I don't have kids, so my legacy right now I can't really tell you, because that's what I believe.
But what do you want to be remembered?
But what I want to be remembered as someone who always thought about others than myself. I always tell people, you're never gonna hurt me for what you say to me or what you do to me. You'll only hurt me by what you do to the people around me. So I'm I never looked at my life as an emotional type of thing, and the things that I've been through. Like, of course, have I been emotional in the moment? Yes. But as far as like that being the narrative of my life and the things that I've been through, the negative things that I've been to be the narrative of my life. I always thought about others. My father and my stepmother went to jail. I was the oldest boy in my family, the oldest son in my family, to take care of my brothers and sisters. So with that became growing up fast and a different type of responsibility. So right then and there, that's when my emotions changed to, okay, it's not about what people are going to do to me. It's about what they're going to do to the people around me. So I want to be remembered as someone who always thought about others more than he thought about himself. Leadership to me is someone, or just demonstrating common sense, empathy. Like, we're living in a time where common sense should be common, but common sense ain't so common no more. You don't need a great deal of showing strength. You feel me? Like, if I take off my shirt, I'm gonna look. I guarantee I'm gonna look better than most men in this room. No offense, but that doesn't mean I'm the strongest in this room.
Why you had to point that out?
No, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm just
laughing because when you say it like that, that's the form of leadership.
That's a form of leadership. Exactly.
Just saying how you feel. That's a form of leadership.
But check this out. I might not even be the strongest man in this room.
Right.
That's the thing. So it's about how you perceive others as well, and how you get along with others, how you talk, your tone of delivery to others, your type of assertion with others. It's not about just showing the strength. It's about being the strength. It's about your level of compassion. You're compassionate, okay? I never, ever wanted sympathy out of my life, but I wanted sympathy for those around me. So leadership, you have to take, with leadership, you have to take a back step to those around you to help you in order for you to lead.
I love every time you on our podcast. I love every time you come to the podcast.
Leadership to me it was instilled when I was younger, and also when I joined the military. My job in the military was 11 Bravo. All I had to do was learn how to kill, stay alive on the battlefield. Our thing was, I'm the mighty infantry, follow me. So my leadership style, or leadership to me, is don't ask me to do something that you're not going to do yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And always, I'm going to be out front to lead you, to show you how this is supposed to be done, how it's supposed to be accomplished. And the leader will always give praise to whoever they are leading. They will give them that encouragement, give them that motivation to want to follow them. That's no different than as a preacher. If you're preaching the word of God and you're leading your parishioners, you should be truthful and forthcoming and open on all areas. But you have to be fair as well in your leadership style. That way, whenever you look back, everybody's still going to be behind you, following you, because they know that you have their best interests at heart. And if there's anything that I want to be remembered by, is my word. My word is my bond. If I tell you I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. If I can't, I will let you know. So that's what I live. That's what I pretty much live by. You know, shake a man's hand, I'm going to look you in your eyes. I want to see exactly what you're feeling, see what you see. You know, so that's basically how I look at my perspective of leadership, is being there, being forefront. Be that person that's going to lead, that's going to help the people along the way.
We got a schedule when I'm gonna come through that joint. Just let me know.
Okay.
So as far as legacy, right? And see, a lot of things in which everything in which I do has to deal with me. So whether it was that young man that I was or whatever. So my grandfather, Roy Slade Russell, had the property on Georgia Avenue between Allison and Webster, and the property on 9th and Webster. We should be millionaires. But because the education wasn't passed down, we don't have those properties.
I know exactly what it is.
Yeah, because we talked about where you teach. So when I realized that and reflecting on it, I said, look, this is what's going to happen. It's not going to be that no more. So when we talking about building a legacy, right? Now, I got one daughter, but my brother got 4 children. You know what I'm saying? And I got cousins that's like sisters and brothers and stuff like that, where it's like, I don't want none of them young people to have to feel like they have to jump out into the streets. If you jump out to the streets, you just asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's my whole thing is not only creating to where there's the wealth, the financial literacy, the family office, people that know everything as to how this is lined up and this is how this benefits us all. Because I don't want to have it to where nobody feels like they don't have the resources and stuff like that. Now, I've been an honor roll student for the majority of my life. Why was I selling crack, weed, oxy, ecstasy, oxycontin, Percocets, all that other stuff that I was selling? Like, how that happened, right? Like, why was it felt like that was a necessity? So it's like, what leads a person? So for me, it's like, look, I'm gonna put this stuff together so the youngins will be straight and they know you ain't got to do nothing that's going to jeopardize your life or your freedom. And we got you. That's what I'm working on.
Y'all a tough act to follow.
It ain't no following.
How I feel every Sunday going over how I feel.
So, man, for me, all right, what was the original statement? Because I want to stay on. I do want to stay on point.
Leadership and legacy.
What was your legacy you would like to leave?
I knew I was forgetting part of it. So leadership for me, first, I guess it has to go all the way back to my very first memory. Okay, so I can see where I came from to where I am. You got to know how to follow before you become a leader, and then you got to do kind of like what I had to do today, on the spot, step up, be a part of something. I just wanted to come and support you, but you asked me to step up. And, you asked me to step up, and I was like, and God was like, you trying to build something. This is an opportunity for you. And so I'm like, okay. And I was uncomfortable when I sat in the seat because I wasn't sure which way we were going. But I warmed up to it. And then I was glad to hear so much positivity, in different backgrounds. So to me, part of leadership is recognizing who you're in the room with. You're gonna tap out, not tap out, but you got to observe personalities. You got to observe character. You got to be willing to listen to other people, and then you got to tap into their strengths. So, say as an example, if his weakness was turning the lights off when he leaves the room, right? Right?
That's me.
So if it was his weakness and he just would never do it. And I go, you know what? Let me stop asking him to do it. That's what leaders do. Stop asking a person that can't get it done to do it. And go to the one that's strong at it. He does not want the light bill in the business or the household to affect his success or chances of getting a raise at his job or paying the other bills at home. So let me ask him then, hey, when you leave, can you make sure the lights get turned off? Just finding the right person for the thing and then feed into his strength. His strength is getting some word into them kids. He can't focus on electricity. He needs to focus on, hey, that one kid right there. You can see it on his face. That's his strength. Hey, can you stand at the door as every kid leave and read their eyes and their facial expression to find out if they about to go do something stupid? And then at the end of a semester, we got success rate on every kid that he was face to face with. So for me, leadership is recognize who you have around you to get done what you need to get done. So we've been talking about it all day, church. If I was leading a church or a ministry at church, there's no way you're gonna expect me to do everything. I'm gonna get a team, and I'm gonna tap into those strengths. That's leadership. And if you can't do it at home, you can't do it in ministry. Point blank. Home is your first one.
That's a fact.
So
That's a fact.
when it
That's
comes
a word.
so when it comes to the legacy part, that is that's something I'm working on. I'm not gonna speak on what I'm working on, but I will say legacy is important. What you do, what you leave behind, what you instill in people, how you make people feel when you know. I can give you, I don't know, in a job, I can give you a raise, but if I make you feel like crap, you only there for the money. So guess what is not gonna happen? That successful business that I have will not be passed down to my family because the person that was helping me make the money, he made his money, he left and went on to make somebody else more because I treated him like crap. So that's how I connect leadership to legacy is treat everybody right. You said it. I want people to be able to say, you know what? All right, let's rewind. I told y'all earlier, I had an attitude problem. I was angry. That's who I was. Part of my legacy is every time I see somebody that I knew back in the day, if that's one of the first things they say, I go silent and I listen. And as soon as I identify that I recognize that they the same way they used to be, I feel so grateful. I feel so grateful. And the reason why, because I don't have to prove to them that I changed, but they proved to me that they didn't change. And that's how they only remember who I used to be. They remember negativity. So if I'm gonna have a legacy, my legacy is to meet new people and present to them who God has turned me into. As opposed to the people back in that. I don't want nobody from 1980 to speak at my funeral. I want somebody from 2025. I want somebody from right now to say this is who he has turned into. Somebody might say this is the only version of him I know. But if I want to go back and ask a family member from that was at the family reunion back in 1985, they ain't gonna have nothing nice to say.
Neither will my last supervisor.
You know, they ain't gonna have nothing. I mean,
she said neither my last supervisor.
Back in the day when I worked at Pep Boys, Landover Hills.
Not up the street.
A lot of the people are not gonna have nothing nice to say because they knew I didn't take nothing. All right, I had to jack somebody up in that place. All right, I really did. But here recently, this year, had a manager at a place say something crazy, and I looked at him like this, and I just walked off. I gathered myself. I made a phone call. I said, "Hey, one of your managers at your locations, he talked to me like I was crazy. I'm old enough to probably be his father. So I expect you all to give him a call and let him know he was wrong before I go back in there and let him know he was wrong. Because I will go tell him, but I'm gathering myself and I'm letting you know. Go back in, I let him know how he spoke to me, and I walked out again. I didn't give him a chance to explain himself. It ain't gonna change what happened. So for me, legacy is maintaining my composure for me and knowing what I came from, maintaining my composure. And every day it gets better. If I'm supposed to be at 100%, man, I'm probably at 60, 65%. Have not arrived. So that's the other thing about leadership and legacy, is knowing you haven't arrived and continue to work on it.
I do want to say I want everyone who tapped into this show to understand that none of these men, when they say anything about leadership, none of it involved control. I think social media has taken and ran away with having females think that leadership means control. It does not mean that. It means delegating. It means provision. It means providing. It means seeing where someone's strengths are. I want it to change the narrative for the generations coming behind us, because it's like a bad stigma around the word leadership or leader.
Well, we have a bad leader in the office.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So we see that every single day. Just like we said, when you see that every day, that's what the narrative is control. If you see how his tone and delivery is to men than to women, and that's the narrative that people see every single day, and then there we go right there.
If they looking at it, right? So his last term, I was in that place where a lot of folks just wanted to, and this goes on the mental health aspect, right? Where a lot of folks just wanted to watch the news all the time. I don't know what it is where people want to watch it, because it's negative.
I work in the news.
So keep your job. It was so negative, and not only did I witness white people be emboldened, right?
That's what we see.
And it was like I was watching that. I was watching seeing black people being killed with no consequence. I was seeing just so much that dealt with me, because we was dealing with COVID and everything at that time, and it weighed on me so heavily. And I never experienced a president in office that was on TV so much. I said, I'm not going to deal with this. So since I've been home, guess what I'm not watching? You know, and it's one of those things, because there was a time in rap, right, where everybody would say Trump, and I say, look at you niggas now. Ain't
Nobody's saying Trump.
You know what I'm saying?
Nobody.
Because he switched sides, and I understand, like, listen, you do what you're going to do to win, but you don't understand the impact in which it made, because I've watched a white person go across state lines with an assault rifle, kill folks, and get off because he had backing, and I'm in the joint for murder, and I'm like, ain't nobody saying nothing about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you deliberately did that. Like, I was in a situation, which, you know, still I'm guilty. I'm guilty. I'm not going to try to dress that up at all, right? But I'm like, you get away with it because you got the complexion for the connection. And I say none of this stuff is acknowledged, but it's okay, right? And everything else that was going on with riots and stuff like this, and it was so depressing when we talk. Like, I had to deal with a whole nother level of mental health at that spot in that time, where it was just like, I'm not going to do it again. And so what I look at it as, and for good man is somewhere in this area, you know how that goes. When warnings come and they go. They implement something on a compound, and then something else, somebody else come, it changes. The same thing with these administrations. This next administration, they're going to undo whatever it is. It's just a time period. We got to undo it, because unfortunately, there's people that live in prison. Like, they life. And they go through these changes. So unfortunately, there's citizens in America that we go through these changes, right? So 2 things. I want to encourage other people to be international citizens, get dual citizenship,
well, they trying to
try
stop
to figure out some other stuff.
Went to court for that.
You know what I'm saying? So, or figure out a way. And then the other thing is, man, understanding what role that you play in the voting process, taking accountability, you know what I'm saying, and taking your rights, and making sure that don't nobody do the bull, because they going to be changing policies. When I got to learn about gerrymandering and all this other stuff, I said, oh, these people play a dirty game, and they've been playing it.
But that's because you didn't know your rights at first, and you ain't know that.
The education, like, that's where it comes from.
That's
like,
the thing.
We have to make sure that we having these conversations about the education, because look, I talk to people right now, because with my caseload and where my area is in PG County, I'd be like, why people keep talking about this Hyattsville? This 207825, this is Landover. But people don't understand that and
The
even with certain
redistricting.
things in which how you do that to give
Mhm.
juice to certain districts
That's right.
or whoever's running in place.
That's right.
But a lot of people that don't have the knowledge or are informed about that, they will never know because people deal with the regular problems of the day.
Mhm.
How am I going to eat? How am I pay? How am I pay these bills? All this other stuff.
But
And
all of that. But the thing is, though, I mean, I work for the news. Y'all know. See, I work for NBC, the political side of NBC. And that's the thing. We don't people. Well, 65 to 68% of people don't know their rights. A, B, don't know what their county executives do, or C, they don't know who they're voting for and why,
like
because it ain't present.
or because they've accepted Democrat, Republican, thinking
And
that
it's
a
more
black or
than
white
that.
thing.
It's more
so
than
much
that.
more.
And I was on this podcast talking about this another time, where the most important vote is your county executives, is your district executives, because they are your everyday point of contact. Your child goes to school, right? Guess who got to get those funds for the school in PG County? Okay, guess who sets the curriculum for the kids in PG County? All of this is your county executives. Then the Board of Education. See, what Trump did was he put the Board of Education and the education back into the state. Okay, so now things are about to go county by county. Okay, so this is why we need to go out and vote more for these people. These are the people that make a difference every single day. Common sense, and that's what we talk about, common sense, about the narratives, and you said control, and what we see every day, and I took it to the political side of what we see every day. Common sense. If you look at the news, and you say you don't watch the news, I'm not going to take no offense to that. But if you watch the news, okay, and we're just talking about political because that's what I know. If we watch the news, there's always a narrative to be painted and to be portrayed. It's about the common sense in the individual to know, okay, that doesn't even sound right. Let me Google this. That sound crazy. Let me chat GPT this.
They don't do that.
And that goes,
and a lot of people don't do it.
So
it's the education.
So, bro, this is I mean, because we got people like you. I know we gonna have some folks that's gonna be responsible about what they portray, but people don't know that.
Yeah, that's a fact.
People don't know that. Like, so when I deal with the stuff, because I'm actually a county employee, I'm dealing with stuff that I'm observing. That's just like, oh, this how this go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. And it's bringing that information from lived experience, which is just like, folks are so uninformed because of what they got to deal with the day and day struggle. And that's the whole thing, which I realized. When you worried about these things,
that's a
you
fact.
don't take the liberty or have the liberty of this other stuff. So how best can I give you the information?
Right.
Because it's gonna get lost in the news cycle.
That's a fact.
Because this is what I also and listen, I did a lot of reading and studying on different things. People will get drawn to the bad news. Oh, who shot this person and who did this stuff and miss the other stuff and it goes through and it just, so it's like somebody else got to be there. And that's the whole thing. When we even having this conversation, when we having responsible men, because he got a classroom, he got a pulpit. I'm hollering at the youngin' straight up. Like, he's laughing and stuff. And then you got your platform and stuff like that. It's just like, look, this is what we're doing. Because with the guys that have come home with me, like, and they've been in deep, like, I feel like the baby out of the group, because I only did 12. These people have done decades. Like, they already are, these people, y'all got rid of the sentence integrity unit. Oh, nah. That's you not trying to let brothers come home. People that didn't work on themselves. Like, so
that
people
surface,
aren't-
that
yeah,
surface.
so it's people that's doing the work off of what they know.
Right.
within the county. Like, I gotta learn more with dealing with stuff in the district. But see, this is what happens with us that done that. There is a network, which I don't know if that same network exists for people that been out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people that been out here, y'all doing the same thing, to where, because we might be on a group chat, we might gotta, like, hey, nah, this is what's happening, because we still got some folks that we gotta get out, good men.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And make sure that we doing what we need to do.
And that's why, like, men like you and men like the people that stand behind you need to be out there educating the ones that's home who don't know that. You know what I'm saying? So then they can teach their household. So we black men need to learn from more black men.
Absolutely.
And if that's your walk of life and that's what you know, right? And you're speaking because you represent the guys who came home and got a second chance. You represent that. You might not even know that, but you represent that. So the responsibility is already bestowed upon you to educate them, because them men might not know that. The men might be picking for that agenda and not knowing that they're hurting the rest of their family, because they see a man that's only painting that agenda. And then you only see that agenda. But then he's saying, this person is saying, well, F your kids. We want y'all to come home, but F your kids. Now what decision you going to make? Is it about you or your kids? Is it about you spreading that word to teach men and to teach others not to choose themselves, but the people behind you? Because the people behind you is going to be the ones that make the difference, not you. You just the vessel. You just the voice.
Okay, guys.
My fault.
No, it's a great conversation, but we are out of time.
We're out of time.
Yeah, sorry, we're out of time.
Too quick sentence.
I don't know, because
I think
we
it's
got
two. It
our
might be
5-minute warning 6 minutes ago.
Oh. Well,
We appreciate the producer.
The same thing we were just talking about, black men doing for black men. We can't gatekeep. We got to give it to our queens.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because we still got queens raising young
Hey,
kings. So it has to. What we have to give to them, so we can get rid of the excuse that a woman can't raise a man. Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
It's just they need the information the
They've
same
been
way we do.
They've been doing it.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for years and doing an amazing job, a phenomenal job. And they don't get enough credit because we only hear about the failure in the men. You never hear about the positivity of the black women raising that successful man.
That's why the target now is the black woman.
It's the black woman. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
we just want to thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Much.
Yeah. You want me to part
Thank
two?
y'all so much.
Y'all just gonna walk off while I still out?
Oh, damn, we still out.
Still out.
No, but we thank y'all for being a part of our panel. It was an amazing conversation. I'm so sorry that I feel like we really should do a part two.
We really should.
But thank y'all for being a part. This is our season finale, so
Yes.
thank y'all for being with us, and
We're
we'll
not
see
gonna-
y'all next time.
Bye, y'all. Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate